Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero.
Thank you for tapping into the Exclusive Minds podcast. Today we're going to be having an exclusive conversation with exclusive content from Exclusive Minds. I'm your host, Rook, and
Joe.
let's get right into it.
All right.
I think we're good now. Jesus.
Okay.
God, what a mess.
Episode 45.
No, I think it's 46.
I think it's 45.
Son of a
I
gun.
think it's 45.
I
checked.
really think it's 46.
The last one was Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, I guess it's been a while.
45.
All right, 45.
According to your...
It's the Donald Trump episode.
off to a great start.
That's rock and roll, baby.
Oh, no. This is when I was talking about having more energy. This is not what I meant. It's going to start off with, welcome to the... And then it's just going to be blank. And then they're going to decensor us and demonetize us.
I know. So we probably should get rolling on this because the camera will kick out. We're trying to record. As you can kind of see, my room is a mess. So our stuff's all over the place. I'm going to try and straighten up our studio next week.
You know why that is? Because you keep ordering stuff off of Amazon from the Vine stuff, and you're just going to... This is going to become a satellite office for...
We got a boom and another mic, so now we're legit. We have 4 mics.
It's going to become a satellite office for Amazon. You're going to be the one to ship stuff out of here.
It's cool though. So hey, free is free. So take it when you can get it. So
is this a stand?
That was the stand for this mic.
Okay.
And then the boom was separate, and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, we'll have to give that a shot sometime.
Yeah, sure. So this was officially the longest that we've not recorded.
Yeah.
Ever.
Life.
Life obviously, but it was like the first 3-week hiatus. Usually like 2 weeks are like sweet spot of like, all right, time to get on this. This is the first 3 week. So yeah, how's it been since Thanksgiving? What's been up? What's been going on?
I don't know. I mean, I was obviously in Chicago this week, so my flight was delayed coming back, which has put me in sort of a cranky mood because I didn't get in until like 1 o'clock this morning. It was it sucks, but what are you gonna do?
What was the layover again?
I was supposed to leave. I was supposed to leave Chicago at 5 o'clock Central Time, which would have had me back here at like landing at 8.
Mm-hmm.
And my flight didn't take off until almost 9 o'clock Central. And I didn't land until like 11:45.
So the delay was longer than the flight was supposed to be. So that's a big kick to the nuts.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour flight, and it was like a 3.5 hour delay. So that kind of put me into a foul mood. So it is what it is. I mean, it was nobody's. It just I'm not one of those people who gets kind of emotional and angry and stuff like that. You just kind of take it in stride, and shit happens, right? It's
any good eats in Chicago?
Yes. So we had a lunch. A partner lunch at Perry's Steakhouse in Schaumburg, for those who are local to Chicago. And that, it was really, really nice.
Never been to Chicago, so...
Yeah. I mean, there's just no shortage of really nice steak places in Chicago. There really isn't. That's kind of their thing, right? So...
And deep dish, I hear.
I'm not...
Is that deep dish, or is
there's tons of that. I mean, there's tons of Chicago deep dish, and there's one place that you have to, like... It takes like 45 minutes for them to cook it because it's so freaking thick and stuff like that. So they warn you on the menu. It's like, if you order this deep dish, it's going to take at least 45 minutes before you're going to get it. So don't, get all pissy if your food's not on the table instantly. So
I kind of like that though, because like I like the reinvention of the pizza. Like pizza's like a 1 to 5 minute activity.
Yeah.
So like the fact that it's a 45-minute activity is, I don't know, kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a whole deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Chicago's got food wise, it's kind of nice. But yes, we had it was a really, really nice steak place. So
good, nice.
Had a nice fillet, and it was good. Yeah, no complaints.
No complaints.
Their big thing is their pork chop. One guy ordered it. The waiter comes out and goes, "Yeah, we're famous for our pork chops. That's our thing, and it's 7 fingers thick, right?" And he's holding up his hands like this, and I'm like, holy mackerel, right? And one dude ordered it, and it is literally like this freaking thick.
Jeez,
and he comes out and he goes, yeah, let me carve that for you because it's such a big thing. So they'll, like, at table side, they'll kind of hand carve it up.
That's cool. And
hand it to you. So it's a whole presentation thing. So that was pretty cool.
Nice,
but yeah,
nice. Yeah, I like I said, never been to Chicago. That'll probably be the next destination. always wanted to go. So.
Yeah, I mean it's
Midwest.
Yeah, I don't know. I take it for granted, I guess, but I'm not a big fan of Chicago. So
okay, fair enough. Well, I know
even more so this weekend because the Eagles are playing them. So F Chicago.
Oh,
right?
the Bears. Yeah. That'll be good. The best team versus the worst team, but we never have really good luck doing things like that. I feel like that seems to be like one of our Achilles' heels as a sports organizations. That's what we did with the Commanders. We overlooked the Commanders and we seen what happened there.
Yep. Yep. So I know 3 weeks we got a lot of news. It's really funny, as I was saying before we got online. I had a bunch of things I wanted to talk about, and then it's just amazing. Like it's amazing how fast news goes stale. Like
or just like it's relevant at one point, like you said, and then or it'll just be like. Maybe that wasn't as important as when it first came out. Like what? Like why did people gas it? Like they just need something to talk about. So it just kind of
So
like you said,
I don't know if you want me to kick it off or not, but
yeah. I mean, I have like one thing I could touch base on, and then I'll let you kind of kick it off from there. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
So the first piece, or one of the first pieces of news that I have comes from one's technology, and then the other one is from a security standpoint. I'll let you pick your poison. Which one do you think is more interesting, technology or security?
Aren't they one and the same?
Starting to get there. Starting to cross that bridge.
I guess give me security.
Okay. So in North Philly, an owner said that he's had enough with violent crimes at his gas station, so he's hired
armed dudes, yeah.
He's hired guys to protect his store. Does this make you feel safer or more uncomfortable, knowing that there's guys with like ARs and everything at the gas station essentially guarding you?
You lost me at safety in North Philly, right? I mean,
okay,
the two,
enough.
if I'm in North Philly, something's probably I'm in a bad situation, right? So,
sure. But if you were a native to North Philly,
I guess it would make you feel more comfortable. I've heard that that thing, right? They already said the crime rate's gone down.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've seen.
And those dudes. I mean, did you see those guys? I mean, it's not like rent-a-cops with maybe some pistols or something like this.
One dude had a suppressor on his gun.
Like these guys are walking around with full-blown bullpups, and I'm like, holy mackerel!
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I guess if you have the right licensing and everything, you could just do that. I guess if you're like security guard, I guess you can do that.
I don't know if they're off-duty cops, but whatever. I heard these guys actually are. They're licensed, they're authorized by the city of Philadelphia that they can actually make, arrests. Like they can
these guys in particular. Huh.
So it's almost like they're full-time police officers that aren't on the payroll, I guess. But they can make arrests, and they're somehow licensed to do that. I don't know how the hell that works, but
yeah,
I mean, you could tell these guys are either ex-cops or ex-military, and they're jacked. I mean, they're decked out and stuff, and all the tactical gear. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this is just a freaking gas station.
Yeah,
for God's sake, this isn't like Fort Knox or some art gallery or gold bullion place. This is a freaking walk-in. This is like your corner gas station.
It just comes down to the owner if it's worth like how much is the investment versus how much it does it cost to protect.
I from what I was reading, right, this guy was literally going to. I mean, his business was gone, right? If he didn't do that, he didn't have a choice, right? It was either
forced to do it,
like whatever this costs, I have to do it because otherwise, I have no business, right? Because he was getting robbed like 4 times a week, no lie. Like something was going. It might not have been him. Like they might not have, but like some interaction was going on at the gas pumps where people were getting mugged, and he's like, he goes, I have no choice. This is. I mean, it's either this or I am out of business.
Yeah, I mean, North Philadelphia, like you said, is not a particularly
nice area.
Nice area. I know that you said 4 times a week. I mean, that's not surprising. When my girlfriend, she went to school in Chester, which is, I don't know, a rough area as well. There would be alarms because they were all connected to like a system where if like someone were getting robbed or if something were to happen, they would get a notification on their phone.
Yeah.
So throughout the week, she would see that 7-Eleven got robbed, armed in
all the local businesses are tied into a system.
She would get 4 to 5 notifications throughout the week of, hey, stay clear of 7-Eleven because someone's just robbed it, or there's like gunshots, or there's many things that like would alarm to go off, but it would go off all the time. So yeah, like you said, maybe his back was just against the wall, and that's what happened. I feel like from a safety standpoint, though, it would make you feel safe. I would imagine.
That's the funny thing with this world we live in. Like, was that always happening, or is it just now that we have this interconnected world that we are now
notified of
made
everything.
aware of everything. Like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe this shit happened all the time before and we just never knew it. We kind of lived in our little oblivion. And now it's like that every little thing triggers some sort of
Alarm
notification.
system or
And
something, yeah.
so, I mean, it's good and bad, I guess. I mean, you always want to be in the know, but at the same time, it's
Makes you
like,
more
it's
skeptic.
kind of, I mean, I don't want to push this whole hypersensitive sort of thing, but you just either that or you get numb to it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Someone, they robbed the 7-Eleven, who cares, right?
I feel like there is a good, there's a, what do you call that? Like a silver lining to that, because now knowing that all these certain activities happen at like this particular 7-Eleven that I was referring to, I would have a buddy. He was a freshman the same time, or sophomore at the time, at the same time that we were sophomores. And he said, yeah, he's like, I used to walk to that gas station. I'd have headphones in, unaware of my surroundings. Nothing would happen. He's a guy. Taylor would walk 1 block, and she's paranoid, unaware, like aware of like every single thing that's going,
hypersensitive, yeah.
So you just kind of see both sides where it's like this kid, granted he's like, I don't know, maybe 6'2", $190, I'd say, like just kind of has headphones in doing his own thing. Like he doesn't worry about that type of thing. Whereas like a girl's perspective who's significantly smaller or has to be aware of those things, you get made more aware of, or you get made
I mean,
more,
it's
an unfortunate truth, but it's
I mean,
good to know those
it's life
things.
experience too, right? I mean, once something happens to you, then you're forever
constantly,
changed,
yeah.
right? You live in your oblivion, and if nothing ever happens to you, okay, more power to you, right? Great. But if that one time he gets mugged or accosted, all of a sudden, it's like, oh,
I'll never do that
just
again.
woke up to the real world, and then you're hypersensitive.
Hyper-aware. It's like when you buy a car and you just see that car all the time when you're going out. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The second thing that I wanted to talk about was this chat GBT technology, the new AI software. It's supposed to be replacing Google. So basically what it is it's a smart software where you type in a formula like, make me a workout plan for the next 4 weeks, push and pull. It'll come up with a humanized answer.
Oh, yeah.
That'll have different formulas for you. And a lot of people, specifically in the coding side of things, have typed in code that only it would come up with. So it'd be like, code me something in JavaScript with these metrics. So every time I click this button, the camera turns on, yada, 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 yada. It would put together a script for you. You copy it and paste it, and it's done in literally a second.
Yep.
Where before you would have to type all that out, and if you would type it all out, there might be an error code somewhere. So just seeing that where technology is going, it's very, very, very cool to see that come to life. I don't know if you got a chance to see that.
I did, and it actually will kind of lead into one of the things that I was thinking about when when I get to my stuff. I'll actually kind of circle back to this, but yeah, I've seen this, and it's kind of interesting, and a lot of people are talking about how this is kind of validating the fact that we may be living in a simulation, right?
Oh, geez.
I mean, think about it though. It's like, if you start really thinking deep about it, it's like, okay, so these computers are going to get to the point where they can sort of real time, create code or,
anything.
and
they
it's
come
like,
up with like humanized answers.
Yeah. So it's like we literally could be living in a simulation, and this is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, and the description for the people who don't necessarily know what we're talking about. The exact description is, it's a prototype artificial intelligence chatbot developed by OpenAI, which specifies in dialogue. The chatbot is large language model fine-tuned with both supervised and reinforced learning techniques. It is a fine-tuned version of the model OpenAI GPT 3.5 family of language models. So it's, I guess, a language AI that, like we said, just kind of breaks those formulas down into more simple or layman's terms.
Yeah, I think I saw a news report where they basically said like create a poem about us, and it would like on the fly instantly do this like really
intricate,
fairly accurate poem and like all kinds of weird stuff. And then this was on the same time as IBM announced that they had some launch of a new quantum computer chip, and it's like, all this is just like next gen stuff, and it's getting kind of wild.
I'm definitely curious to see, because it's one of those things where the more you interact with it, the more intelligent it gets. So it's like, what if you were to just lock yourself in your office for 24 hours just typing to this bot and kind of chatting with this bot, and then you could almost kind of have these seamless conversations or seamless chats where it's like, hey, pull me up the best coffee spot within my area, and it'll just pull it up, or you know what I mean, where it's like the longer that you interact with it, the smarter it gets, man.
There's so many things that are just really on the cusp of changing, because I mean, you think about like, well, okay, well, when you go to college, like at what point do you not need to learn like language or grammar, right? I mean, it's funny, like the computer, like Microsoft Word will autocorrect, you know, grammar and spelling and stuff like that. So as long as you have a very basic fundamental like typing skills, I mean, you almost don't even need to understand grammar in the sense that we all used to have to understand it to communicate. And it's wild. Like in math, right? I mean, like I have this argument with Noah all the time because math is not one of his good subjects, right? He's constantly not, you know, doing well in that. But he's like, well, what do I need this for? And I'm like, I have a hard time answering it anymore, right? Because before it was like, well, everybody needs to know math. But he's like, yeah, well, computers, you know. I'm like, yeah, it's true, right? It's hard to argue.
That was the thing that we used to talk about in school all the time. It was like when is there going to be a situation where my job's not going to be providing me either a phone or computer, and I'm going to need to know like how to do like calculus by hand, right? Or something where it's like I don't have access to these resources, but it is good to know. And it's funny you say that because yesterday I got reminded of something that at the time I thought was so important, but then in hindsight I was like, I never used these. Like it was, for example, we were talking, me and my girlfriend were talking about like miss the what do you call that? When you break down the word, right? Like miss means evil or something like that. And just like those little like and then like I'm trying to think here. What is it? Geo means world. Like there's like side, you know what I'm talking about? Just like stupid stuff like that. We were talking about, I was like, I completely forgot about this, but at the time when I was in high school, this was it. Like I needed to know this to get this grade, to get this. I'm like, I never use this in any of my real world applications. I could probably name you two of them. Yeah. Obviously you've seen I was struggling to name two.
Well, I mean, you do. You mean, that's the thing. You think you don't, but you really do.
There's going to be that one-off situation.
Yeah, the fundamentals, you still need to be able to trigger, you know, higher level stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. It's clear that like, you know, technology is just advancing at such a rapid clip these days that it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
No, for sure. And I was going to try to get a more specific number, kind of going back to the chat GBT thing. I think that they broke a record where it was like Apple had like 1 million users within a span of like 60-something days or 90-something days. They had a broken record of 1 million users within like a month or something like that. So they're breaking. I mean, and that could be just because like Apple was they were reinventing the wheel kind of, and these guys are kind of, you know, building upon that wheel. So it's a little bit
just an extension of an existing kind of concept.
So it's
and
easier
stuff.
to, I guess, break those records, but it's still very impressive to
Who's the company?
Chat GBT, I think. Yeah, check them out. Very, very interesting stuff. I was going to use the AI stuff, because I feel like that's becoming like a more popular thing. I don't know if you've seen it on your LinkedIn or your Instagram feed, but everyone was doing the AI pictures. Like the AI would create a picture, so you would type in like 3 or 4 different photos of yourself. You would pay it like $2, and it would come up with a whole series.
Well, you just lost me at pay. I'm not paying. I ain't paying for shit. So
you pay it like $2, and it comes up with like 60 or something images of
what you look like over the years, or
like not based off those pictures. It would be AI generated pictures of you in different scenarios. Like one, I was like an astronaut or something like that.
So and then you can sell it as an NFT.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. So essentially you could. No, but it was like my face, but in different settings. It was pretty cool.
The Tiger Dave NFT.
The Tiger Dave NFT.
You can morph your face into a tiger and sell it as an NFT for.
Yeah, and then Carole Baskin.
Ponzi scheme, baby. Yeah, we should give her some shout outs. She did you see that she just the legislation I guess she's been fighting to ban private ownership of big cats passed.
Really?
Yeah, I was literally just a couple weeks ago. So shout out to Carole, and congratulations on that. It was something I guess she's been working on forever.
Yeah.
But that finally went through, and Congress passed it, I think.
Good stuff. We'll have to get her back on. Talk about it maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Or about like a 20-minute segment for her.
Yeah, so I mean that's it's good news. I mean really needs to own a tiger, right? So
unless you're Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, no, I think that was it for basically my topics that are not currently outdated. I feel like
I know. Because it was funny. I was like, well, we could talk about FTX. Well, that's kind of old news now, right?
I mean, he's in jail now. I think
they arrested him finally.
So he's been arrested. It's became more mainstream media. I feel like I use my parents as a gauge to see what mainstream.
If they even know what it was,
like,
and they do.
So my dad came up to me and he's like, "Did you invest in FTX?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not currently not kind of how it works, but yeah, I did not invest." He's like, "Yeah, they just arrested the dude or something like that." If
your dad knows about it, and you
I'm like, okay, so this is like
holy
mainstream.
Shit, yeah.
And then I seen a clip of what's his name off of Shark Tank.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I know you're. Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful. Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary.
There, he was testifying in Congress. And stuff.
He was talking about it, and he was like, he called Sam, and he was like, "Show me the records of the past 24 months," and he wanted to know it, but it's almost alarming because how connected I feel like someone like he was. Like, you look at him as like a business guy, old, like, on top of it. And he was endorsing this FTX thing as much as he was, and it was like I heard at one point.
So
they were using QuickBooks to do.
Yeah,
no
shit. Yeah, the bottom line is, look, everybody's corrupted by friggin' money, and Kevin O'Leary isn't the classic example, right? They paid him $18 million.
Is that right?
Right. So he turned his head to the obvious glaring things because he's like, shit, I'm going to get $18 million, right? 10 of it was in the FTX coin, so he instantly lost that, right? Worthless. But I mean, he still walked away with banking some money and.
Yeah,
should I fault him or not? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know
Why wouldn't you? Because he promoted something.
Yeah, true.
He's a reliable source. That would be like.
Yeah, no, I guess
Starbucks putting out a coffee that was made with artificial beans, but promoting it as real beans.
Yeah,
right?
I have mixed feelings. I mean, I get it. I mean, but at the same time, it's like people should be just. This is the real world we're all living in. You should be smart enough to know that this guy's getting paid to endorse this, right? It's a paid endorsement. So the guy's not giving it to you from his heart.
Fair.
You just have to assume that, right?
You just have to also assume that everyone's not doing the due diligence that they should be doing. So it's almost like, yes, you deserve it, but at the same time, you look at these experts to almost provide some sort of guidance. I mean, there's a number of examples. Now, if it was like Kim Kardashian promoting the same coin, you would obviously look at that. Well, I mean,
and I guess that she got sued, but I think they let her off, or
right. But I'm saying, like, if she were to offer you financial advice, it's different than Kevin O'Leary, business mogul, billionaire, right?
Yeah,
giving advice.
Yeah, I get it.
So I think that's.
I mean, nothing's going to happen to him.
Sure. I don't think anything will happen to him, but I think that's the only difference there.
But we obviously talked about this already. I mean, that whole thing is just so freaking crazy. It's not even funny. I mean,
it's almost like a movie.
Every time you hear something, I mean, it's still in the news. It's still relevant, but it's amazing. Every time there's a story coming out, you just kind of scratch your head. Like the QuickBooks one was just like last week, right? Where they were like, the whole thing's billions and billions of dollars is being funneled through a QuickBooks thing. Yeah. And then I heard that, when they were talking about how this guy's been buying houses and basically he was using the money for his own personal use. But what happened was it's so freaking crazy, right? He would authorize a loan. Like he would sign off on an official document saying, I'm authorizing a loan to myself. And then he would accept the loan. So he was literally issuing a loan in his own name and then signing that. So it's like,
wait. So how did no one catch on sooner then? Right? Like
because no
one raised an eye.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that I guess if you talk to it's always funny how like after the fact everybody comes out of the woodwork and says, yeah, we all could see it, and I'm like. Okay, yeah, I'm sure everybody could see it, but nobody ever wants to say anything until the shit comes crumbling down. But I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This guy literally, like, it's like you and I going into business, right? And then,
like a check and then
it's like, buy Exclusive Mind shirts and send us the money and then we'll send you stuff. And then we never really send you anything and I just start buying cars and stuff like that. And I mean, it's like crazy.
Yeah. That is wild. I mean, I feel like when you.
Billions of dollars.
Well, because billions. Once you have billions of dollars, I think that almost gives you like a pass, right? Like it's like, well, this guy knows what he's doing. He's got to $1 billion.
Well,
you know,
I mean, that's obviously what was going on. And I don't know
just
if
kind of like, oh, he's a genius. He's signing off loans, paying his credit, building his credit. Like it's probably like so many excuses or so many things.
And the sad thing is, like,
look at it like that.
I've seen this guy talk, and I'm like, it's almost like he
wanted to get caught.
No. It's almost like he didn't do it. Like it was just like. Like he wasn't even thinking. Like it was just sort of happening, and he was just kind of doing. And it wasn't like he was vindictively trying to create this Ponzi scheme and steal money from people. It was just like you and I at this table, and then all of a sudden a week later we got $1 billion in influx, and it's like, what do we do? Right?
You just think
let's just hire some of our friends to manage thing, and let's go buy a $40 million house in Jamaica or wherever, the Bahamas, and hang out there and run our business and stuff like that. Not even thinking that there's we got to have rules, and it was just like craziness.
I agree. No, that is true, and I think that example definitely hurt the whole industry as far as crypto and
this is pretty much the nail in the coffin, I would think. I mean,
and especially NFTs. I would imagine this did definitely hit.
Like I said, I mean, I said this long before this ever blew up. That I said if you are investing in anything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, you're a fucking idiot. And this just kind of reinforces the fact that if you're into any of these altcoins or shit coins and stuff like that, you're a friggin' idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the takeaway here would be just play with whatever you're comfortable with losing.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of the ultimate takeaway with that.
Yeah, and assume you're going to lose it.
Assume you're going to lose it, or it's
or
the
at
same
least
thing.
85% of it.
Yeah, it's the same thing as anything, gambling, sports betting, anything. So,
yeah. So I guess it was now 2 weeks ago. The Game Awards were on.
Yeah. That's recent news. We can talk.
Yeah. So it was a streaming thing, right? So I obviously I'm a 56-year-old guy, right? So you wouldn't think that I would like sit there and spend 3 hours of my day watching the entire gaming awards. But
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the entire thing from start to finish.
It must have been entertaining for you to watch it.
I was kind of invested in seeing if Elden Ring would win Game of the Year, right? So that was the reason why I even kind of watched it. And it was one of those things where I sort of knew that was going to be the last award of the night, but yet I turned it on just to kind of see. And then I think Steam Deck was giving away a Steam Deck every minute if you were logged into the stream.
You already have one.
I know, but it was like, okay, what the hell, right? Yeah. So I was like, I'm watching it. I'm like, holy shit, there's 400,000 people in this freaking Steam TV stream. I'm like, damn, man.
Yeah, I see. It's actually funny. I didn't end up catching it. I ended up only watching the highlights. I saw like God of War one.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything was. I mean, pretty much every award was either God of War or Elden Ring, right? And then there was.
Did COD win anything or no?
Not that I don't think so.
There's no way, really.
So when did that release? I don't know how the timing of all that works.
Right. I mean, it had to have won something. It sold $1 billion its first opening weekend.
I don't think it did, to be honest with you. I really don't. I'm trying to remember. Like, most of it was, I mean, most of the awards were actually God of War.
I know God of War is a huge franchise. I know that.
And then Elden Ring won all the big ones, like, Game of the Year and
let me look it up.
Storyline or something like that. There was a couple ones. But so the thing that was kind of interesting to me is it basically was kind of like a mega commercial for all of the studios, right? So in between all the awards, they basically had they had exclusive sneak previews of all these games coming out. And the thing that amazed me was the freaking quality of all of these games coming out is just insane. And, like before it was like, okay, you had World of Warcraft and that was like the mega title. And then there was all these little games that you would play for like a couple hours and they were sort of done, right? But there weren't like these mega games because these mega games required these massive studios and all of these resources to actually do, right? And if you didn't sell $1 billion, it was a total failure. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, it was one after another of these open world games that the graphics are just insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. And I'm like, there's no way that, it got me thinking, like, what is the scale for success of these games these days, right? Because in my head, I'm like, in order for them to create this content, it has to be this huge studio with all these people. Then it got me thinking about, well, maybe that's really not the case. Maybe it's actually these programs that are sort of self-replicating all this content, or you basically just paint these broad strokes and the computer is actually doing
Just
all this
filling it in for
background scenes like Elden Ring and these, massive backgrounds and world environments, and it's all sort of rinse and repeat with some slight modification, and it's not as big a team as you think. I mean, I don't have any insight into this, but I was like,
no, I think that's a great conversation.
There's literally like a dozen titles that 2 years ago you'd be like, holy shit, look at the quality of these freaking graphics, and look at this open world play, and I'm like, they can't have teams of 100, 300 people for all these studios, because half of them you never even heard of. Or maybe people have, but I mean, I'm like,
no, I agree. I think you raised two great points with that one piece of dialogue. I think the first thing is like, how far away are we from jobs being replaced with AI just saying create a user interface for this multiplayer game, and then that completely erases the job creator for a UX designer, UI designer, and that's all UI or AI rather, right? So that's my first thing. Is like, we're not probably too far off from that. You know what I mean? Like, think about how that could develop, right? Even something as smaller than that, because I know that's kind of like a more generic thing. But just think of make a user interface for a private match, like, and then kind of narrow it down and get more specific, right? So that, I don't think that's necessarily too far off. I wanted to ask you though, because you also talked about something else, but what was it going to be? Damn it, it just slipped my mind. How far do you think we're at the current point where the gaming stuff is more advanced than the technology that that the average human or consumer has? For example, like the games that are coming out with these massive engines and massive, that you would need like monster computers to. Do you think we're at a break point where it's about even? Or do you think that the content is more than what the average human's computer can handle, and we're just waiting to catch up to what that is?
I mean, so take Elden Ring, for example, right? I mean, obviously it wins Game of the Year, it wins art direction, all this stuff, right? So, I mean, really, when it comes to the pinnacle of sort of the graphic environment, right, you sit there and you would say Elden Ring is a top-level game. And I think, as I mentioned, right, I'm running it on a freaking handheld Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not in 4K, right? It's whatever it is, 1080p. But I mean, it's amazing the scaling capabilities that you would think that a game like that you would need to have an RTX, whatever the hell the latest one is, 4000 and whatever the hell numbers they are, right? But you don't. I mean, it scales down into a freaking handheld, and that's kind of amazing. So
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Elden Ring is there multiplaire capabilities with Elden Ring?
PvP. So I mean,
so there is. Okay, so can you do that? But Steam?
It's not the same. So it's just in a consolidated area, right? It's not It's not open world multiplayer. It kind of is, but it isn't, right? I mean, you basically just you have a session where you just kind of go in and fight it out for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it is, and it's just your particular area.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's interesting because you mentioned that. Have you downloaded like so? Obviously, I'm a Call of Duty person, right? Obviously by nature, right? I only ask these questions because when I think of this stuff, I think of Warzone, or I think of the multiplayer.
Sounds like we're having an earthquake. It's our garage door opening.
It's crazy.
This
was the end of days.
I know, it's weird.
So when I think of this, I think of these 150 player arenas that my computer, which I have a 3060 Ti, struggles to load into. Not struggles, but it's like I'm maxed out at maybe, if I'm lucky, I can maybe touch 100 frames, right? So I'm wondering. Yeah,
those dynamic environments are always going to be a challenge. I mean, obviously, Elden Ring is very. It's you're basically generally playing single person, right? So it's easy, I think, for the computer to keep up with single person versus
a dynamic thing where it's you're playing against, like I said, 150 other people or 149 other people.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's the reason why the multiplayer is limited in its scope to be able to still maintain kind of the environmental graphics level,
It's funny too because when you shrink that down from that 100 number to more of like a reasonable number, like 24 people on a map or 12 people on a map, I would say Call of Duty for the most part has a great not refined system, but a I don't know what you would want to call it, like quality of life. It's not necessarily bad for the smaller end things. It's just when you get to those bigger scale things, it's like, what kind of computer do I need to like? I'll watch some streamers like Dr. Disrespect or someone that has like a 5K computer. Obviously, not everyone could afford a $5,000 computer, but even they're having some troubles. It's like, when is that?
Well, your limitation is your bandwidth coming into the computer, right? So I mean, you could have a $10,000 computer, but if you're on you're on your local copper connection, it's 3 megabits. You're gonna lag and suck out like crazy, right? So unless you're on a FiOS fiber connection, that's your limiting factor. Typically, is your Wi-Fi. Most people are running Wi-Fi, right? They're not hardwiring in.
Yeah.
So that's typically your bandwidth is your limitation is actually your internet connection, not your computer.
And I just found the word. It was optimization. That's what I was trying to think of. But even when I'm talking about the streamers, right? I would imagine they have their own private LAN cable that gets sent directly to their house that no one else has access to. I think Ninja was a great example.
Yeah, the ones that can afford it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
that's expensive as shit.
They even still have those issues within those games that just are maybe not fully optimized to come up with that. So it's like, what point are we going to be at a point that it's almost like back before where there seems to be no problems with FPS dropping or lag or anything like that? It almost feels like we kind of went, even though we're going forward with more crazy technology, we're almost going backwards where it's like, yeah, the game plays great, but when I'm able to play it plays great. When I'm not able to play it plays like dog shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's just like a catch-up period that we're currly in.
Well, I mean,
feel
it's
cat
and the mouse, chicken and the egg, right? So I mean, that's kind of this ongoing war. I mean, I have some behind-the-scene information view of that because obviously I sell in the data centers and stuff like that, right? So, obviously the technology for the internet, the backbone, and all the other stuff is ever evolving too, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you see it in your cable provider, like I said, right? I mean, how long, the fact that I've got like a gig to the house is insane compared, 5 years ago it was like
a couple hundred.
It was like maybe 10 megabits, right? So,
geez.
Shit changes.
No, yeah, I think anyone that has the opportunity to have gig is extremely fortunate. I looked it up, by the way, for the award thing. I don't know if this is true, but it says, despite missing a shot in the Game Awards, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beats 2022 Game of the Year to become the best-selling title. So I think we were right. It was just the best-selling title, not the best Game of the Year. I think Game of the Year. I don't
remember them. So I mean, I think what they did is they didn't announce all the awards on on the stream. So I don't remember seeing too much from Call of Duty. I mean, I know they. It was in some of the categories because I remember seeing some of the graphics and I'm like, holy shit! That they had the one where they were running missions in the Netherlands or something, and I was like, look at this freaking graphic. They're walking through these like canals and shit, and I'm like, holy mackerel!
Yeah, man, they do a pretty good job. I wanted to ask you about speaking of.
There are some seriously good-looking games coming out. Though. I don't. I'm obviously not a huge gamer, but man, there were a couple things I was like, Armor Core 6, I guess. So the people who did Elden Ring, I guess that was their original game. Was this? It's like it reminds me of Titanfall, but you can kind of customize your dude.
Love Titanfall. Titanfall's a great game.
I mean, I shouldn't say it's like Titanfall because this was out before Titanfall, so Titanfall's probably a mimic of this. Okay. But you get my point, right? You're like these mecha robots and. You run these missions, and it's kind of like Elden Ring, but it's robots and stuff. But you can customize your character and stuff like that. But the graphics were like, it was one of those things where it wasn't gameplay; it was just a cinematic. So you don't know what the gameplay is going to look like. And a lot of them were like that; they were just showing cinematics, and like people are like, "Oh my god, look at this game!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a cinematic. That's not the actual gameplay. So you don't know what the hell it really is going to look like." But I don't know, man. Like Diablo 4 is coming out. There was this other game. I forget what it was called. Shadow. I don't know. It was like
Shadow of Mordor.
No. It was. Oh god. It was. It's like a darker Elden Ring kind of thing. So it's a sci-fi fantasy thing, but it was like really dark.
Speaking of Best Picture and billions of dollars,
I wrote it down, but I'm trying to remember what the hell it was.
No, yeah. Do you remember from back in the day, Avatar? They just came out with the new one this Friday.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I hear
Lords of the Fallen.
Never
heard the game. I look it up, man. It's like I was like, holy shit.
Avatar is supposed to be coming out, or it already did come out. And now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the highest grossing movie of all time? Or
Avatar is, yeah.
Yeah, so the first one, I just don't understand why they took them so long to come out with another one. Because that was like 17 years ago or something, right?
I think what the director's a lunatic or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think they came out with.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen Avatar.
No
I mean, I've
way.
seen. I don't think I've ever sat through the entire thing start to finish. I think I've seen bits of it.
It's a good movie.
I've obviously done all of the rides at Disney, all the Avatar rides, and loved every one of them. But I don't think I've ever watched the movie. And of course, I didn't see Titanic either. So I guess I just maybe I don't like James Cameron. I don't know.
Is that who directed it? James Cameron?
Yeah. But obviously he did Terminator 2 and all those other ones. So I mean, I don't know. Avatar doesn't do anything for me.
Doesn't do anything for you?
No.
I'm trying to think.
I have seen it because I'm trying to think. I
came out.
I'm sure I've seen. I know I've seen it, but like you said, it was 10 years. I mean,
it was so long.
Somewhere along the line, I've seen it, and I forget about it.
It was 13 years ago. I think I exaggerated by saying 17. I think it was 13 years ago. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's not that far off because around this time, me and Taylor like to watch like the Rocky movies. I don't know why, whatever the reason. It's like December, and I don't know
which one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We go through all of them. Yesterday we watched Rocky 3, but
Clubber Lang.
Yeah, Mr. T.
Yeah.
And the skip between like the second to the third was like 8 years or something like that. So I was like, it was like 1980.
Yeah, the first two.
That was 3 to 4. Sorry, 1982 to 1990. That was the gap. So it was 8 years, and I was like, that's like a long time. Like
then he was doing the Rambo movies and stuff like that. That was
during the same.
Yeah, you got to remember, right?
Okay.
So there was a bunch of shit going on in between. I think he was doing the Rambo movies then.
Yeah, his physique during the time was like you got Arnold and then like him as like I feel like, and who was the other guy? Ronnie. I forget, but like you see, I think that's what like really like kick-started. I feel like the whole gym and everything culture that we see today. It's like for the time, I feel like, and you could obviously attest more to what I'm currently saying, but like the first and second movie, he was like in decent shape. The third and fourth one, he was like juiced up and
and the key word there is he was juiced up. I mean, I don't know if he ever admitted to doing steroids, but I mean, there's no doubt he did. Like the Liver King, right?
Liver King,
fucking guy.
Yeah. Bro, we were we reached out. I reached out to Liver King before Liver King was like popping.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I don't know if we probably have talked about it.
Yeah.
We talked about it, but like I reached out to him, or I sent an email to Joe. I was like, Joe, what do you think about this email? There's this guy on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That was like, so you sent that email to the Liver King to get him on. That was like 6 months before
but got on any podcast.
He got on the Full Send because I remember when he got on the Full Send, we were like, like we really compared to the Full Send podcast, but it was like. It's like, son of a bitch, this guy sent us he actually took the time, or his guy or person sent us an email saying,
him,
I don't do podcasts because it doesn't align with my thing. And it's like, and then sure enough, he gets on a podcast and we're like, that piece of shit.
Yeah.
That should have been a telltale sign. This guy's a lying crock of shit.
Dude, we knew it ahead of time because we messaged him and we're like, hey man, we love your content. I love your, what you stand for. Because at the time, the
messaging
was flawless. And then come out like a week or two ago, he had it all planned out. Like it was like he wrote into these guys. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take this working out stuff very serious, or not working out the."
I heard someone was saying his abs are implants.
Yeah, Bradley Martin. He said that the guy that is one of the co-hosts because he said he like touched them.
Yeah, and they're like hard as a rock or some shit. Yeah,
but I don't know if that's true. I mean, but then again, it also puts you never know.
Yeah, you kind of dug your own hole with regards to whether people believe you or not.
And that's the thing. It's like I don't doubt that he's eating liver every day. I don't doubt that for a second. I would love to hear about a little bit more behind the scenes because that's the problem when you promote something as heavily as you do. Because now every time that someone thinks of something, it's like, well, he faked the steroids stuff.
You're screwed. I mean, once you lose your credibility,
how do we know that
it's
he's not like putting pieces of liver in his mouth for the video, spitting the shit out, and eating McDonald's afterwards. We don't know. So I feel like, in my personal opinion, which for whatever it's worth, I think he's living that to the most part. I feel like when he's saying he's sleeping on cardboard or boxes and stuff, I don't know necessarily if that's true. I think that he does believe in like eating liver, eating the testicles, and all that different type of stuff. As far as like sleeping on.
Yeah,
like
but
I
is
said,
it a
the wood,
situation where he?
Because he has a
He
supplement
doesn't
company.
really believe it, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own, and now he's kind of
Well, he's
crazy, walked himself into having to do it.
He was a crazy successful like salesman before that, though. Think about it, like because he was selling the ancestral supplements, so he had to have some belief in it before. Because even when he wasn't Liver King, he was still the Liver King salesman.
It's just man, everything's so freaking fabricated. It's the TikTok world, right? I mean, nothing's fucking real. It's all staged. It's all fake. Everything is so fucking fake.
Fake news.
Honest to God. I mean, seriously, everything on the internet is goddamn fake. Crypto's fake. It's all fucking fake. My
can you
God.
clip that? Can you clip that? Yeah, we have to have a button.
Seriously though,
Put that
man,
on a
come
button.
on.
For the next
it's all
thing,
fucking
we
fake.
we have to click it.
I just got the we just got the adult content warning because of me just going off about everything's fucking fake.
That was gold.
Oh, this world is so fake.
Speaking of fake and fake news,
I am real. Everything you see in this world and in this room is real, man.
It's AI, man. It's
everything
AI.
I'm telling you is real.
We said make two guys.
I don't eat
come
liver.
Up with
Shit sucks. I can't even stand the smell of it. So yeah,
I never
find
had
something
liver.
else.
We should try liver.
Never.
I saw that. I don't know how old that is in retrospect.
My big thing is I just discovered keto bread, and it looks exactly like real white bread. I'm like, holy
Jesus
mackerel!
Christ, this keto thing, man.
Can I say white bread? It looks like
Caucasian bread?
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm only kidding.
Fake.
Now I don't know what the fuck I was saying.
Fake
God damn
bread.
it. All right.
Everything's fake. It's fake bread.
So
without carbohydrates.
In retrospect, with keto, you're not allowed. What can't you eat with keto? I'm
carbohydrates.
anything
Period.
carbohydrates. So you can eat like
there is a science to it, right? It's not just you can't eat carbs. There's a balance, right? You're supposed to be getting, I forget what the exact number is, but it's like you're supposed to be getting like 60 or 65% of your calories from fats. Quality fats, right?
Yeah, someone was eating a steak
and then
of
you're
butter.
getting 25 from proteins, and you're getting less than 10% of your calories per day as carbohydrates, which is like nothing. Like, I mean, you eat a freaking candy bar and it's got 60 grams of carbohydrates, and you're trying to get like under 20 grams of carbs a day, generally speaking.
So what is like what's something that you would eat that would be right at that bare minimum? Like if you were to eat like you said, a candy bar, would that put you over?
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, you can. I mean, anything that's got like any sugar, you're basically just cutting carbs, and you're looking for things that are a high fat content, right? And it's not as easy as it sounds, and you have to almost track your macros and stuff like that. But the whole premise of it is the success of keto is that it turns your body from burning glucose, which is all the sugars and shit, to burning fat. And it just trains your body differently. So
sure. Okay, well,
but you got to test your blood, and it's a commitment, but obviously it has some I
would imagine
benefit.
I was going to say we were talking about
we're all
news.
over the place. We talked about the Liver King, and then we're like talking about keto and
fake news. I was talking about Elon Musk has been going on a rampage on Twitter.
Dude, he is just torching I mean, it's so funny because wow. I mean, it's something else.
I didn't know if you had any thoughts or opinions. You're obviously more into the political side than I am. What have you been thinking about everything that's been going on?
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, he's just basically...
Not that it's a political thing.
He's basically validating everything everybody's been saying for ages, right? And
which is what?
That the government was, blacklisting people and suppressing information, and
which they were,
which they clearly were, right? So
I think he did 2 episodes or 2 like threads or live threads or whatever they're called. One was on the Biden laptop, and then the other one was on the election, I think it was.
Yeah, the January 6th stuff, and it's any number of things. But I mean, the FBI like literally had weekly calls with that Eli Roth guy who was the head of like Twitter security team,
really?
Right? So, and I guess the last one I didn't even see it. I think it was literally yesterday. The FBI would basically send them a list of people they wanted blacklisted.
Jeez. And now he has a censor on the people's profiles that they've been blacklisted.
I think that was one of the things they wanted to do. I don't know have they done that yet or not. But
I don't know if they've done it or not. But I think that's one of the things that they're trying to lean more towards.
Oh, there goes the camera.
Oh shit! Let me guess what time we're at. 55.
49 minutes. So there's got to be something.
It's all right. We're back to the audio only.
Yeah.
Going back to our roots here.
Last time we almost made an hour on the camera. I'm gonna have to figure something out. I guess GoPros clearly are not made for long format podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll have to go buy a what's that Dragon camera, Red Eye something.
Dragon.
Red Cinema or something. It's like an 8K, $12,000 camera.
Jesus Christ, no.
Help us. Donate to our cost so that we can get a camera that lasts a friggin' hour.
Yeah, seriously.
Holy
I think we'll
shit.
have better luck recording off the Peloton camera at this point.
We might. I mean, and I even downstreamed it, so maybe I have to go even. I don't know.
No, it's all good. So yeah, I'm curious to see how all that stuff plays out. I think they validated that they were basically shadow banning everybody, and I guess the premise was not so much that it happened, right? Because in certain situations, look, I'm not a legal scholar, but I get why you would ban people, and when he just lost his shit, right? Doing the swatch stick of stuff, and you get why they're like, okay, dude, you need to take a chill, time out pill. Right, so you kind of get it, but they were shadow banning, and the thing that I think is the real issue is all of these people that they shadow banned or banned. It's all coming true. It's not a conspiracy theory. They were banning it because they didn't want that word out because it was like, oh, it's misinformation. As it turns out, none of it was friggin' misinformation. That's so crazy you say that. The fucking Kanye stuff.
Oh, that dude lost it, dude.
But
He's gone.
That started right around the beginning of our 3-week hiatus.
Yeah, you're right. That was one of the things that's not, it's not relevant anymore.
Not even relevant. But yeah, that was crazy. And that was another thing that my dad and mom asked me about was the Kanye.
Oh, Kanye.
I was like, yeah, I got them.
I forgot we haven't talked about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like there is a huge disconnect when people so for example, right? I still wear the shoes, and that's not to support or not to support. I spent $200 fucking on a pair of shoes, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'm gonna wear that stuff. I'm gonna wear the fucking shoes. This is what I bought them during a time when he was normal.
Doesn't make me an anti-Semite. I want to wear the fucking shoes.
Exactly.
I got it. Yeah.
So that's what happened. The next thing on that is his music street, or
did they ban him from? Did they pull him?
No,
from?
I don't think they did. I just think that him as an artist, you have to, because when he was going through all of that, he put out like a single, or he sampled a single, and it sounded just like his old shit, like literally just
2010.
Bro, it sounded like
prime
Kanye, and everyone's like, maybe he just needs to go a little crazy to come up with these smash hits because it sounded good.
Oh.
But that's not me supporting.
That.
No, it was really good. Really, really good. You have to check it out. But this is not me saying to his personal stuff versus his music tree. I don't know. Creativity. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I think you have to be able to separate the two. I know that's hard to do.
Come on, he went on Alex Jones for fuck's sake.
And Alex Jones looked like the good guy.
I know. Holy crazy. Oh, my God.
That was crazy.
Kanye's just
he's like Alex Jones, and the thing was like, he's like, you like the way that they dressed? He's like, no. He's like, I think that they had a good message. I'm like, bro, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
please.
he just totally lost it. I don't know what else to say.
So I think you have to be able to separate the two because, he, for what it's worth, his creativity and everything as far as that goes, as a person, who knows what he's going through, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I think there's a lot to unravel with that. Who knows, man? But I know a lot of people they might even give us shit for this, for being for me, just even saying that you have to differentiate the two. Like, people are completely off of him, burning his shoes and shit like that. So.
Look, he could have survived if he had just kind of done a little bit of the screw up shit with Adidas, but man, he just kept going with it. That's the problem. Yeah. It's like, dude, you just took it too far, Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know. And oh my God, Lunatic Fringe though. Holy shit. Yeah. When he's coming on the Alex Jones and all these other friggin' whack jobs, and he's wearing the full,
well, he was hanging out with the one dude. What's his name? Not.
Oh yeah, he's got the racist dude, or You talking about his?
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy that's running his campaign. I forget his name.
Oh God.
But he's even said some crazy stuff himself. I know he said like something about like, was it the same stuff as Alex Jones, like the shootings?
No, I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even want.
He said some crazy stuff. He's just surrounding himself with people that I feel like he knows will get that negative attention.
Yep.
He put like a remix of the Nazi logo on a hoodie or something like that, and that was even crazy in itself. Like it was the I'm sorry.
It was a swastika and the Star of David kind of interlinked together, and it was like, dude, come on, man,
so,
what the hell's wrong? And that was that Alex Jones shit with like, oh, Hitler wasn't so bad, and it's like, are you dumb? I mean, come on, man,
crazy, dude. That was absolutely crazy.
You had to go there. So you had to just do it.
One last touch point I wanted to ask: what do you think? What are your predictions now, knowing that
Eagles win the Super Bowl? Oh, sorry.
no, they are going to win. Thank you. No, the World Cup.
Did you spend all your money on that you won the other day? Let's do a recap on that. Did you spend all that coin, or did you lose it? Did you?
No, we've been up. We doubled it at this point now.
Get out! I
swear to God, I'm telling you right now. I'll show you my stats. So I guess
you haven't cashed out though. You still got that?
Cashed out. We cashed out. So let me try to think of the timeline here.
You should be buying the cameras and all this shit here.
I know at this point. Holy shit, dude. So we won $1,700.
Like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks
Last
ago.
time we were on. When we were on, you won, right?
Yes, we were on the podcast. I literally got a live reaction. I highly suggest go watching that. So we put that money into other bets. We took out our initial $200 to be safe. Spent the $1,500. From the $1,500, we turned that into like, I think it was like $4,000, I think. And then so the way that it came out, I withdrew $3,000 from the account. Me and Kevin split that 50-50. We have $2,300 in the account currently. So
for those that are listening, by the way, right? Because I know that like
this sounds peaches and rainbows. Please don't do it.
But no. But I mean, like this is real money for us, right? Because we're not like no. We're not these freaking million subscriber podcasts where money's just no object, right? This is like legit money for.
Yeah, no, and I'll let you like just so you know I'm not bullshitting. This is my past 5 bets. Go ahead and scroll down. I'm not gonna. This is obviously real. I'm not. I'll be truthful about certain things. So there's obviously some bets where I have like, I
don't know how to tell. Oh, so you won $232. Yeah. What was all your losses? You won $260. Well, come on,
there's a couple losses in there. You could read them out loud.
I haven't seen. Oh, you lost like $10.
Yeah, there's like the crazy ones.
You lost 25.
Yep.
You won $1,200 on a $300 bet.
Yep.
Wow! Holy shit! Man, look at these. You're hitting fucking 6. Are you shitting me with this? I mean, you guys are just like, do you close your eyes and just like throw shit on a dartboard and get lucky? You bet $400 on a 6-way freaking parlay and you hit for $1,700.
All right, now
wait, was that Thanksgiving?
No, that was a different one.
Yeah, no, this is last week's game. Yeah. You got to be shitting me.
No, this is real.
Yeah, the one where the Eagles went batshit crazy, and you had Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts for 200 yards. Oh my God!
Yeah,
you got to be kidding me.
So we're gonna put something on tonight's games.
You lost $10.
Yeah, and the losses we put like these crazy ones out because you get free money, like I talked about earlier.
So every one of the major big bets you hit, didn't you? You didn't lose any.
No, there's one actually we lost $500. You could actually find that one.
Yeah, here you lost $166. Man, you just missed that one too. Jesus. Yeah. Lost 5. At this point, why are you even betting $5?
Yeah, because you get free money. I told you, you get free money to like you get to play with it.
You
it's
won
like
900. You lost 100.
Yeah. You get to the 500.
You won 1,000 on a $500 bet, which means okay, I got it. Jesus Christ, man, that's crazy.
Yep. For anyone that's interested in I was posting them on my story. I'm starting to not do
it.
it.
You lost $500.
I told you, yeah.
Christian McCaffrey didn't come through with 40 yards.
Guess what he got?
39. Did he seriously?
Yeah, it was like 37 or something like that. No, it was 39. Look up that game. It was 39 on the fucking dot. I'm not kidding. I was pissed the fuck off.
Oh, my God.
So what happens is when you're a running back.
Does it give you, if I click on it, does it give you the stats?
No, but if you run and you lose yards, it takes away from the yards. So he was over 40, and he fucking lost yards.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah. So,
Jesus Christ. Whoa, $800?
Yeah, balls of steel sometimes. And keep in mind, okay, so I know this might sound bad, but this is all money that's we took our initial investment out, and we took 3,000 of our initial.
Jesus Christ, you can bet on everything. I mean, literally, like individual stats for individual players that like you bet $800 that George Kittle was going to get over 44 yards.
Under, you got under.
Under 40.
Yeah.
Man, that hit for $1,500.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I want to make this very clear that this is not my money that I'm using. It is my money, but it's also not the money.
You're playing on house money. Yeah,
house money.
I get it.
And we took our initial investments out. We took out $1,500 each, me and Kevin. So we're up in the grand scheme of things. We're up $1,300, right? So no matter what happens,
you got $2,300 in your account.
Yep.
Not bad.
Yep.
Damn, dude, you are the man. We should maybe we'll start charging. You can make your suggestions to people on the phone. What do they call that? Bet lines and
yeah, you could.
Let's do our new podcast as the bet line with Rook and
Rook and Kev.
Get your highlights.
There's
here.
people that charge for a Discord. I would never. I don't think I would do that. I don't know. There's people that do it. There's people that say they pay to hear.
So
some
I
of the
mean,
things,
are you guys like literally? I mean, honestly, are you doing any research or you just?
That's how we got it. Yeah. So I'll tell you. I mean, because it's public information. Go to statmuse.com.
Is this next to Elon's plane? It's public stuff.
No. So it's public stuff. So go to statmuse.com. You can look up specific things. So you can look up running backs versus X team, and it'll pull up all the running back statistics. So for example, if we have Miles Sanders and a comparable running back to Miles Sanders, whoever, like, or for example, Derrick Henry, right? If we do running backs and then compared to the Steelers, and Derrick Henry's playing against the Steelers, we'll look up to see who's a comparable running back to Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs is relatively close. We'll look at Josh Jacobs. How did he do against them? Oh, he got 130 yards. All right, we'll put. He's guaranteed to get close to 70 or 80. We'll just put the over for that. What's the next statistic? Wide receivers versus the Steelers. Who's comparable on the list? We'll look at their list and then just kind of gauge it off of that. We'll also look at the past 5 games for Derrick Henry.
So you guys are putting the effort in.
How's Derrick Henry been performing, 20, 30, 40, 50? He's been going on an upward trend. All right, put the money on it. Why not?
Yep.
Fuck it. So be careful when betting. But, yeah, we just been extremely lucky. Who knows, next week you might see us fucking sell their shirts.
Yeah.
So who knows? But, yeah, it's all house money.
All right, man. So I guess we should probably wrap it up. It's over an hour.
All right, yeah. Apologies.
So get your exclusive minds clothes. We still have. I think we actually still have a couple of those T-shirts that change colors.
Yes.
What was the feedback? You get any feedback?
I liked it. Yeah, but a lot of people liked it. I think, man, the feedback that I get is we don't drop enough.
Yeah, well, and it's a problem.
The second thing is the hoodie and jumpsuit were released in what was it, like March, like right before summertime.
Yeah.
And then the T-shirts in
I know,
December.
we have it all fucked up. Yes, we're all backwards.
We're going to, I think what we should do is after this, maybe me and talk about some sort of longer item, like another hoodie or jogger or something for the winter time. And then we have to just get acclimated to the season that's coming up.
And we got to get our shit together. So that's our 2023 goal is to get back on track.
The beginning, we used to meet at Starbucks, right?
Yeah, I know. We had we just kind of got away with that. The podcast is taking up too much of our goddamn time.
Absolutely.
So trying to keep a freaking GoPro camera going an hour, it's been a pain in the ass. But all right, so yeah, check out your clothes. exmnds.com
most definitely
is our hook. Check it out or go to exclusivemindspodcast.com, and that will redirect you to the clothing site as well as an archive for every episode of this podcast. We're now at 45, so we're getting close to the magic 50. 45 freaking podcasts.
Well, yeah, I looked. We've been doing this for over a year now.
And we've 45 podcasts with about 50 viewers. So it's we're rocking, man.
Well, hey, 1 viewer per pod. I'll take it.
One new viewer,
yeah,
right?
One new viewer per pod.
It's new touch. So anyway, we're still having fun doing this. But share, like, give us 5 stars. You can get it on Spotify, Rumble, where else? Apple.
Jesus Christ, Rumble.
What's wrong with Rumble?
No. Rumble's just been you. Another thing we got early on. You were on Rumble before.
Yeah, the stock is tanked though, but I guess it was overhyped early. But anyway, yeah, cool. So that's it. I guess peace out, and we'll catch you later, man.